Hi, how are you? Good. Yeah, it's nice to meet you. So, I know that you were looking into possibly adopting a cat. Yes. So, we do have a little bit of a screening process that goes into adopting a cat and the process for that. Yes. So, today we'll start off with a little bit of an interview. Yeah. Just some questions about you, and your lifestyle and your personality. That way we can kind of see what cat is gonna best suit you. Yeah. So I just have a couple of questions written down. Yes. Just about your personality and your lifestyle. And is that okay if we go ahead and start? Okay. So, first of all, if you could just tell me a little bit about yourself, just some general information about you. Yeah, and you can go ahead and start. I'm just gonna also be writing down your answers and taking a couple notes. That way I'm able to pair you with a cat that I think will best suit you. Okay. 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 So what kind of lifestyle do you live? You know, what kind of job do you work? Okay. And then, so are you gone a lot? Okay. Okay. Would you consider yourself more of an introvert or an extrovert? Okay. Do you live in more of a quiet area or is it a louder area? Like, is it an apartment or a house? Okay. And what kind of stuff do you do in your free time when you're not working? Do you spend most of your time like at home? Okay. Um, so have you ever had a cat before? Okay. Do you currently have any other pets or cats? Okay. Then what do you expect to get out of having a cat as a pet? Do you travel a lot? Where you're gone for extended days or weeks? And then another thing we like to ask is, do you have like a daily routine that you kind of stick to? Not like a super strict routine, but just a routine that you daily have. Okay. And then, is there anything that you really look for in the personality of your pet that you think that's going to suit you best? Okay. And then, are you okay with a cat that's maybe a little more high maintenance? If they have longer fur or anything like that that may need to be brushed more often or trimmed. Okay. Okay. So I do have one cat in mind that I think is gonna suit you really well, but obviously we want you to meet her first. And before we do that, I just wanted to go over a little bit more about the responsibilities of having a cat. Things like making sure their water bowl is always full. Yeah, cats typically don't drink a lot of water, but you like to encourage them to drink more water by always making sure the water bowl is full. And then also, cats do go to the restroom in a litter box, so you do want to make sure that you're keeping that clean frequently, depending on what kind of litter you use. But you definitely want to scoop twice a week at least, if not every couple of days, depending on how many boxes you have. And then you want to make sure that you have things for the cat, like a cat tree. Cats like to be high up. Yeah. And then also toys. Yeah, the cat specifically that I am thinking of does like toys. Yes. And then you want to make sure that you're also brushing them often enough to de-shed them. That kind of helps to avoid hairballs or anything like that. Yeah. Depending on what kind of fur the cat has. Yeah. You want to avoid the hairballs and things like that. Less for you to clean up. Also, taking care of their nails and trimming their nails. That can also help to avoid them scratching any furniture or anything, but just keeping them lightly trimmed. Yeah. And then cats don't need baths very often, as they do bathe themselves very well compared to other pets. But every once in a while, you can give them a bath, which is kind of a learning process. And you'll figure out what kind of works best for y'all. But they don't need baths very often as much as dogs do. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I will go ahead and get the cap that I'm thinking might work for you. If we decide that maybe she doesn't fit for you, we can try different cats, or maybe today is not going to be the day that you adopt, and you may be put on the wait list for when we get a cat in that we think that their personality is going to suit you. Yeah. So this is Princess. Yes, so she is a longer haired cat. She does have that longer fur. She is a more chill cat. She does prefer a quieter lifestyle. And she does prefer quieter areas. She does like tall cat trees. She does like to be high up. Yeah. You're welcome to pet her. So with her, there's a little more maintenance when it comes to the fur. Trimming the sanitary areas and also keeping her toe fur trimmed as well. Yes. Yeah. She does like a lot of attention as well. She does like to be pet and brushed. She does need to be brushed quite frequently just because she can easily get mats around her neck. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to overwhelm her, so I am going to take her back to her area and we can kind of discuss. Yeah. Okay, so what did we think of Princess? You like her? Okay. You want to go ahead and adopt today? Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, we can go ahead and do that. There is a couple forms you'll have to sign before we are able to release her to you today. Yeah. Okay. So if I could just get you to go ahead and sign right here. Yeah, right there. And then right there is all you got. Okay, and then this is just, yeah, right there. Okay. Okay, thank you. And there is a couple of things that we will send with you to begin your care of her. Since she is a longer haired cat, keeping her brushed frequently to avoid any matting is necessary. So I do have this little brush. It is good for detangling her fur. It is really good to brush around her neck frequently. That is where she typically has issues, especially if you do want her to wear a collar. I do recommend doing no collar just to avoid matting around the neck as well. But if you do a collar, it's good to take off the collar once a day and brush her neck. Yeah. And then another thing is, since she is a longer haired cat, yeah, it is good to give some trimming in the sanitary areas as well as the fur that grows between her paw pads. So I have these little scissors. They have a dual edge on them to avoid accidentally hurting her or anything. But trimming those sanitary areas and the toe fur is very important. Yeah. And then next, I do have the nail clippers. You do need to be careful of trimming their nails and making sure that you're not trimming too close. I recommend just trimming just a little bit, especially when they get sharp and long. So these are just these little nail clippers. And lastly, to send with her, I do have some of her favorite toys. She is a big fan of stuffed toys. She does like when you throw toys. She does like to chase them. So I have this little stuffed toy. This is a winter Christmas one. It's a little toy shop. She really likes this one. And her all-time favorite toy is this little winter mitten. And then another toy that she really enjoys is anything that has feathers in it. This is a little stuffed fish. She enjoys anything that has feathers on it as well.